You are not poor because of your situation, but because of the way you think. You work 8 hours a day, yet your money disappears just 3 days after payday. You work overtime, yet your dreams keep getting postponed year after year. You switch companies, yet you still can't afford to quit if you hate your job. You think it's because your salary is too low, because you were born in the wrong time, or because others are simply better. It's because you only learned how to make money, but never learned how to think about money. The rich don't save money the way you do. They save choices. You choose stability. They choose freedom. You choose certainty. They choose skills. You choose saving. They choose growth. You work 5 years, save $10,000. They work 5 years, lose money 3 times. But on the 4th, they earn enough to take a year off. You think they are lucky, but they think you're trading your whole life just to protect a paycheck that barely lets you survive. You're not poor because of money. You're poor because you only dare to live inside the mindset you were taught since childhood. Study hard, get a good job, save money, and never dream too big. And you? Have you ever thought of escaping this game? Or do you still believe hard work plus saving equals wealth? The truth is, hard work is not wrong. Saving is not wrong. But if you don't know how to turn money into skills and skills into value, you're only protecting an empty wallet, draining yourself more every day. Financial freedom doesn't come from a full wallet. It comes from a clear mind. To escape poverty, you must first escape the way you think about money. Not by working harder, but by thinking better. You're willing to trade 5 years for a skill, but afraid to lose $200 to learn it. You fear small failures, so you accept a lifetime of poverty. You make money like running on a treadmill, believing the faster you run, the closer you get to freedom. But the truth is, the path you're on never leads to freedom. The problem isn't your situation. It's the mindset you repeat every day without question. You are not poor because you lack opportunities. You are poor because you reject every opportunity that doesn't look familiar. And the most dangerous thing is, you think that's normal. So today, if you feel stuck, don't ask, "How much money am I making?" Ask instead, "How am I thinking about money?"